The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
How y'all like that right there? Welcome to, it is the Benjamin Dixon Show, but I don't like to necessarily call this a stream. It's Tuesday, November 10th, 2020. Thanks so much for joining me. We are rolling out all of the different little things that we're working on to show you that no matter what you contribute, even if it's just tuning in, we're going to always be improving our content and improving what we're doing because why? Because we can, because we got skills like that. So welcome to the stream. Shout out to everyone who's been in the chat room already to this point. We have 904 people watching and listening in. There's a lot to talk about, and not all of it is good. And that's such is the nature of American politics right now. We have the president of the United States who is showing that he's more than willing to burn this country to embers in order to satisfy his ego. That would not be so bad if it wasn't supported by Republicans who are willing to burn everything down for the sake of power. Republicans are willing to serve Donald Trump's ego because serving Donald Trump's ego gives them power. And they're willing to see this entire democratic experiment burn to the ground for the sake of one cheap political win. Because it's not as though, and I want you to hear me clearly. Shout out to everyone in the chat room. Patrice, good to see you. Zach, good to see you. The Goose, JC, Trap Squad, K-Love, thank you. Everybody, we are live in full effect. It's not as though Republicans are willing to ignore the wins that they got in the Senate and in the House. When it comes to the Senate and the House, they are more than willing to recognize those wins. They're more than willing to recognize the validity of those votes. It's only when it comes to Donald Trump that so many American people voted against him that he lost, that they're willing to say, oh, this is invalid or illegal ballots. Look at the hypocrisy there. I want you to really consider the hypocrisy there. The hypocrisy there says that we will recognize the election when we win, and we will invalidate the election when we lose. You see what's happening? That's exactly what's happening. They're willing to recognize the election when they win, but they completely disregard it as illegal if they lose. The Republicans have pushed us into a corner. I couldn't really say this on Twitter today because it required context, lest I get a call from the Secret Service. But Malcolm X said, you either give us the ballot or the bullet. And if the Republicans are saying they're going to ignore our ballots, what does that leave us with, ladies and gentlemen, non-gender conforming individuals? What Republicans are honestly, with a straight face, trying to do, they are trying to steal this election from us because they don't see our votes as valid, because if they saw our votes as valid, that would mean Donald Trump loses. So they have complete disregard for your vote and my vote. They have no regard whatsoever for your vote and my vote because it goes against their political interest. It goes against their political power. For Donald Trump, he doesn't really care about the Republican Party. Let's be sure. He doesn't give a shit about the Republican Party. He only cares about his ego. But his ego lines up with the Republican Party's perverse, insatiable pursuit for power by any means necessary, even if that means destroying American democracy. Okay? It is the reality that Republicans are more than willing to burn this country down. I'm not talking rhetorically, folks, because what do they expect us to do? Can I ask you that? What do they expect us to do? If they completely overturn this election, he has a strategy to do that. I'm going to put out a video in the morning, and I hope that you will watch it, share it, and subscribe, and all those things. I'm going to put out the video in the morning. But if he completely ignores the election results and Republicans do everything they can to invalidate the election results, what do they expect us to do? Just roll over and say, oh, well, I know we won technically, but Donald Trump wasn't satisfied and Republicans want power, so we're just going to lay down. Very simply put, we would have no choice but to meet them where they are. And they're willing to burn down democracy for the sake of power. We can't capitulate and back down because they're barking. We have to meet them and say, if that's what you want, then that's what you get. And if that means that we find ourselves at war with ourselves, then so be it. Because are we supposed to let them decide what is a legal ballot and what's an illegal ballot? We've never heard this phraseology before in any election. I've been voting since 2000. The year 2000 was my first election, right? Hell of a year to have a first election. Never before that, the first election I remember was 1988, Michael Dukakis versus George H.W. Bush. Never in any of those years have we had a national conversation or a statewide conversation about legal ballots and illegal ballots. This is new jargon that they are conjuring up for Republicans to give Donald Trump time to use his machinations and his ego to try to find a way to get this election before a conservative federal judiciary, a circuit that is ruled by conservatives that he appointed. And Donald Trump expects that there's going to be a level of loyalty from the people that he appointed that's going to overturn our votes. And I'm telling you now, and I want everyone, you know what? If they want to play hardball, let's play hardball. I don't give a damn what any federal judiciary says. Overturn our votes if you want to. Go to hell. Kiss our asses. We know our votes were legal, whether or not a conservative appointed by Donald Trump says otherwise. Okay? They want to play that game. We could play that game. You want to invalidate our votes. You want to ignore us. We can ignore you. I've got kids crossing in the background. I'm trying to get turned. Go ahead and cross. Go ahead. Let's do it. I got a whole caravan. Here comes the caravan. This is what happened when I decided to come out into the living area. But if you want to invalidate our votes, then we will ignore your federal judiciary. You want to invalidate our votes? We will. If you break the law, why should we acknowledge the law? If Donald Trump is able to invalidate our votes just because of his ego, then I say we all just to hell with all the laws, to hell with every single law. Why should I pay taxes? I pay taxes every single month. I've been paying taxes every single month, even since I was broke. Broke. I've been paying a check every single month to this federal government. Why should I pay those taxes if the federal government is going to ignore the law as it pertains to my voting rights? Because Donald Trump says it's illegal? Kiss my black ass. Excuse me, kids, get to the bedroom. Why should we genuflect before the law when Donald Trump doesn't? Why should we give credence to what they believe and they don't give credence to our rights? Never mind what we believe, they ignore our rights. What makes them believe that we're going to roll over and play dead in order to let them get their will, get their way? Because Donald Trump can't handle losing. I'm sorry, Donald Trump. You have entered into a realm of human society that your money or your fake money can't buy you out of. You cannot buy the will of the people. The will of the people said, get your ass out of office on January 20th, you bum. That's what the will of the people said. And Donald Trump is demonstrating that he is more than willing to burn America to embers by ignoring the will. Riddle me this, Batman. What constitutes an illegal ballot? It just so happens that Donald Trump and the Republican Party defines illegal ballots as mail-in ballots. If they had their way, they will eradicate every single mail-in ballot. Why? Because Donald Trump told his supporters not to use mail-in ballots, period, in the conversation. And he knows that Democrats overwhelmingly use mail-in ballots. Why? Because of COVID-19. And so they're directly attacking in Pennsylvania right now. They're directly attacking the validity or the legality of the mail-in ballots. And they honestly think they could get away with it because Donald Trump has stacked the court. He has packed the courts. He has packed the courts, and he expects a level of loyalty. Y'all hear my wife in the back telling my little son, go to bed. Nobody has more authority in my house than my wife. Let me tell you, when she puts bass in her voice, I jump. I'd be like, hey, what do we need to do? What do we need to fix? What do I need to fix in order to make this right? Babe, you need me to stop the show? I'm sorry. But the fact, Akrimon, I'm glad you like the vibe. I love the vibe too. It is a vibe. The fact that Donald Trump and the Republican Party have demonstrated that they're willing to ignore democracy and the law and the Constitution in order to maintain power. They are willing to burn America. They're willing to meet us on the battlefield. And they expect that we are going to back down. They expect that we're going to be too afraid to look them in the eye and say, I dare you. I dare you, Donald Trump. I dare you, Republicans, to invalidate my mail-in ballot because you don't want to lose. I wish you would. Donald Trump, Secret Service, everybody hear me clear. I wish you would invalidate our ballots because they are inconvenient for your power plan. If you ignore the law, we're going to ignore the law. It'll just be a free-for-all. Why should we capitulate and genuflect and recognize and honor America's laws and the Constitution when you ignore it? You want to act crazy, we'll get crazy. You want to act stupid, can't nobody get stupider than me, man. And I have the capacity to convince everybody else that it is reasonable and acceptable and quite literally the right thing to do for us to get as ignorant as you are. See, they have not calculated for the fact that we are going to make the rational act of not bowing before them. They think we're going to be too afraid of conflict to meet them head on and say, I dare you. I dare you, Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham. I really want to describe Lindsey Graham in a way that will probably offend a couple of people. Let's just call him a ban. B-A-N. Lindsey Graham is a ban. You can go look it up yourself. They really expect us to just lay down and play dead. Lay down and say, oh, well, white conservative men are angry, so we're just going to let you have your way. I wish you would, man. Because here's the deal. This is what you have to understand. If we allow you to have your way and get your way right now, then you're going to continue getting your way in the future and you're going to continue stealing. Matter of fact, there is no future. You would rob us of everything that we're fighting for. You would rob us of any opportunity for equality. Forget egalitarianism. That's like a far off utopia. That's a dream. but equal opportunity. You rob us of a chance to have any representation in this country. So it is reasonable, it is rational for us to take the position of a Malcolm X. You either recognize our ballots or you recognize you can fill it in. Fill it into the chat rooms. You either recognize our ballots or you recognize and this is a guy who I would much rather everybody knows me. You guys know me. You know me, still the same OG, but been low key. I am the Disney dad of Disney dads. I want to just roll up and go in the backyard with my kids. Roll up in the backyard. Like, no, that didn't come out right. That's still not going to come out right, is it? I would just rather walk into the backyard and barbecue and let my kids jump on the trampoline. But if you rob me of my opportunity for me to express my democratic right as a citizen in this country, then that means you're robbing my children of the same thing. And there's literally nothing that I won't do for my children. There's no amount of time that I will not go to jail for my children. There's no amount of penalty that I won't suffer for my children. There's no amount of pain that I won't suffer. So if you're stealing from me, my democratic right to vote, then you're stealing from my children. So I got to act as though you're stealing from my children right now. And if you take from my children, I'm going to take from you 10 times over. Not one time, not eye for eye. I'm taking 10 eyes for 2. We need to let them know that we're not playing around. We need to let them know that we are not playing around. And if they steal our votes, then why do we have any responsibility to recognize America's laws anymore? Or this American political system anymore? Why should we be fearful of America's legal system? Why? Because the cops can beat us down? They're beating us down anyway, fam. Why? Because the cops can gun us down in the streets? They're gunning us down in the streets anyway. The only thing that we had left in this country, can I be honest? The only thing that we had left in this country is the appearance of democracy, right? The appearance that our votes counted. That's it. Not the reality. Because if you look at the actual data, the data suggests that we've long since left the democracy. We've been an oligarchy for quite some time, but at least we had the appearance of democracy. And Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, and Lindsey Graham want to take the appearance of democracy away from us because it's inconvenient for them. Can I ask you all a question in the chat room? What responsibility do we have to recognize America's laws when America's leaders don't recognize America's laws? Again, I want to ask it again. What responsibility do we have to recognize Donald Trump's authority when Donald Trump does not recognize the authority of the people? I wish this mother would. I wish they would, because he stacked the courts. He has an assumption that he's going to be able to get something before a conservative court that he has already packed, and he expects loyalty from them, and he expects that they're going to rule to throw out all the mail-in ballots. Because if he throws out all the mail-in ballots, he wins. And I promise you on God, y'all gonna have to come stop me. You're going to have to come stop me. Because that means all bets are off. That means democracy is 100% a farce. Right now, we're operating at a 75% farce. Americans' democracy has been a joke since corporations have been able to buy it. But you mean to tell me the ego of one man-child is going to be able to overthrow the last 25%? Maybe the problem is that we didn't get angry enough over the first 75% of American democracy being robbed from us. The fact that oligarchs honestly run everything. The Jeff Bezoses of the world, the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, all the people who can buy lobbyists to go and buy politicians and just pour $10 million into an election cycle and get legislation that they want. Proposition 22 in California, they're able to spend $200 million on that so that they don't have to take care of their drivers. Right? Maybe the problem is that we allowed and permitted too much. And now all of a sudden, that last 25% of America's democracy is being robbed from us. And it's a bridge too far. To be fair, I've been sounding the alarm for a long time. Most of you probably didn't know me before this election cycle, which is cool, but I've been sounding the alarm for a long time, and other people have been sounding the alarm for a long time, but I wasn't really ready to say, man, F America's laws. Because the manipulations and the control that oligarchs have used, they bought laws. They purchased legislation. Donald Trump is saying, F buying legislation because I'm broke, I'm in debt, and the reason I'm willing to run America into the ground is because if I'm ever not president, then Deutsche Bank is going to come after me, so I can't purchase laws, so I'm just going to say F everybody else's democratic choice. That's really what's going on here. And Donald Trump is saying, I don't care even about the appearance of democracy. I will take away from you the very appearance of democracy, and he dares us to do something about it. Well, you know what? I will. I refuse. I absolutely. What other choice do we have? What other choice do we have? We have no choice but to respond to Republicans and Donald Trump with the exact same disregard for American law as they are showing. We have to meet them eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And if it was up to me, I'd take 10 eyes for the 2 that they take, so that they understand that a Disney dad who would much rather be out in the backyard chilling will fight at a level that they don't expect. Because if I don't, that means we're going to have an entrenched battle. We're going to have a battle that lasts. No, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in ending this as quickly as possible so that I can get back. If y'all slam one more door in this house. Jeremiah, I know that's you. I know that's nobody but Jeremiah. If you go eye for eye with Republicans, then we will be in an entrenched battle for years. And I don't have time for that. I'm trying to go in the backyard and barbecue and let my kids jump on a trampoline. So I'm going to take 10 eyes for every eye that they take so that they understand, do not play with us. Try to steal our vote, and I will show you how much disregard I actually have for America's laws, because you had no regard for it in the first place.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
I think it's important for us to really understand the score. We're at a juncture in American history when Republicans have made the calculus that all they have to do is ignore every law, every norm, every institution, everything. If they ignore it, then they can obtain and maintain power. My kids are not going to let me be great. I'm going to call one of them over here. At least we could be cute if they're not going to be great. Come on here. They have no regard whatsoever. They have no regard whatsoever for the law. And yet they cry law and order. Right? We've had people in the State Department and the Department of Defense who have all resigned. And they have resigned because Mike Pompeo and William Barr have shown that they're willing to violate the law. And William Barr has shown that he's willing to violate the law and demand that there be federal investigations into illegal voting. Let's start here. Before I even go any further into that, can anybody define for me, can any Republican who's trolling our audience define for me illegal voting? I want to give you time. I want any of the trolls in the department to define illegal voting. I want any Republican politician to define illegal voting. I want the president of the United States to actually define, because journalists, you have been letting them get away. You have been letting them get away with saying we want to count all legal votes and we don't want to count any illegal votes. Good suggestion, Jake. What do you mean? Define legal and define illegal. And I guarantee you what you're going to find is that their definition of legal and illegal depends on what benefits Donald Trump and what does not. Listen to Mike Pompeo.
So what do you say to world leaders who are reaching out to Joe Biden, now the president-elect, leaders from all kinds of countries, Belgium, Canada, Estonia, France, Germany, Greece, the list goes on, even Saudi Arabia, which was President Trump's first stop, congratulating President-elect Joe Biden from the King of Saudi Arabia. What do you say to them?
Well, I'll actually be in Paris on Monday, and I'm headed to Saudi Arabia after that. There's still an awful lot of work to do. We're reminding everyone that all the votes haven't been counted. We need to make sure the legal process is fully complied with, and then America will do what it does best. We'll have a leader in the White House on noon on January 20th, and we'll continue to execute American foreign policy. It's what President Trump wants to make sure that our entire team does all the way through, every day. It's what we're focused on. It's what I have my team focused on. There's still a lot going on in the world. We're pretty focused here in America on our own election. There's a lot still going on in the world, and we're focused on making sure we keep Americans safe during this time period.
Sounds good, but earlier in the day, this is what you had to say.
Is the State Department currently preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
I'm sorry, there'll be a smooth transition to what?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
But that's not what the election results say so far. So I'm sorry, what did you say one more time?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
Tell me more.
Right? We're ready. The world is watching what's taking place here. We're going to count all the votes. When the process is complete, there'll be electors selected. There's a process. The Constitution lays it out pretty clearly. The world should have every confidence that the transition necessary to make sure that the State Department is functional today, and successful with the president who's in office on January 20th, mid afternoon, will also be successful.
So they are, that's your Secretary of State. That's the Secretary of State saying that there's going to be a smooth transition to the second term of Donald Trump. Never mind that all of the data so far, all of the election results so far suggest that Joe Biden won in a landslide. Listen to bootlicker number one, bootlicker supreme, Lindsey Graham.
Media censors conservatives when we want to talk to each other, get our point of view out. The state of play in America in 2020 for Republicans is not good. We need to fight back. We win because of our ideas. We lose elections because they cheat us.
Senator, this never happened before. You know, it was interesting.
I'm sorry. What? What's it? One more time, Lindsey Graham.
Media censors conservatives when we want to talk to each other, get our point of view out. The state of play in America in 2020 for Republicans is not good. We need to fight back. We win because of our ideas. We lose elections because they cheat us.
There is not a greater bootlicker in this country. There's not a greater band. B.A.N. There's not a greater bootlicker in this country than Lindsey Graham. Every single Republican has demonstrated that they are willing to ignore the Constitution and ignore your right to vote in order to maintain power. And they do it with the tears, with the tears of sincerity. Look at how sad Lindsey Graham looks.
Media censors conservatives when we want to talk to each other, get our point of view out. The state of play in America in 2020 for Republicans is not good. We need to fight back. We win because of our ideas. We lose elections because they cheat us.
No, you lose because your ideas are crap. You lose because your ideas are rooted in white supremacy. You lose because your ideas are rooted in greed. You lose because your ideas are rooted in capitalism that benefits the top 1% at the expense of everybody else. You lose because you don't care about anybody else but your own ego, your own profit, and your own political power. That's why you lose. But they wrap it in sad. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, we lose because Democrats cheat us. They consider us voting as cheating. Okay? Let me make it clear to everybody in the audience. Republicans, what they define as cheating is if you vote against them. Period. Point blank. End of conversation. I need you to make sure that you understand very clearly that I have yet to see a single Republican being willing to engage in good faith around this. And what they do is they gaslight you. It is like an abusive relationship. If anybody in this audience has been in an abusive relationship, you will understand exactly what I'm getting ready to say. They will violate you. And then they will find anything, any minuscule, irrelevant, indifferent, has nothing to do with the issue at hand. It doesn't matter. It could be they will find anything. And as long as they can find one thing, it doesn't matter if it's a needle in a haystack. If they can find that needle and twist that needle to make you feel guilty, to make you feel like they're actually the victim, they will take that needle and they will jam it in you and they will twist it and make you second guess yourself. And then all of a sudden you say, well, maybe Joe Biden didn't really win. Maybe this is what they're going to do. They're going to find a needle in a haystack and it's going to be so irrelevant. It's going to be so ridiculous. It's going to have no bearing on the truth, but they're going to jab it in you and they're going to act so sincere. Republicans win when it's on our ideas, but they lose because Democrats cheat us, Lindsey Graham. They're going to jab that in your side and they're going to twist it. And then they're going to make you think, wow, wait a minute. Maybe the media shouldn't have called this. That's what they're doing right now. Without any hyperbole or any bombosity, I'm going to just be quite honest with you. The thing that they're doing right now is that they're trying to make you second guess the validity of the media organizations calling the election. When in every single election in modern history, it has been the analysis of media organizations who use the same standardized procedures, looking at the states that have a certain percentage, like 99% of the precincts are reporting, and the only ones that are outstanding come from a particular precinct, and that precinct has this many Republicans and this many Democrats, and based on how they voted last time, we can project that Democrats have more votes here, and so those Democrats are going to vote for Joe Biden. So we can conclude, based on that analysis with 99% reporting, that this election is in the bag for Joe Biden. That has been the standard accepted principle for for longer than I've been alive. And I want to show you one other thing. Now, everything I'm saying, I'm going to condense down into a nice, cute 5-minute video with graphics and everything else. This is the long version. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you the full version. The short version so that you can share. It's going to be a 5-minute version of this. But here's the fact. Here's the truth. Didn't Donald Trump say he wanted the election to be called that night? Didn't Donald Trump say that he wanted the result? When we used to have elections and we'd find out that night who won. The only way Donald Trump, he said that last week, that we should find out that night. The only way in history we have been able to find out that night was by virtue of media organizations using their election departments to do the math and conclude based on standardized methods who was the winner, who was going to win, and who was going to lose. So for Donald Trump to get what he said he wanted before the election, it would depend on media companies. Why? Because no state ever certifies the election for weeks after the election. No electors are ever cast. No votes from electors are ever cast until months after the election, before the inauguration. They take their trip to Washington, D.C. and cast their electoral ballot on behalf of whoever won their state. So for Donald Trump to literally get what he wanted and what he said he wanted, it depended on media organizations doing the math. And when the media organizations took their time, 5 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they took 5 days to make sure that they didn't get the math wrong. All of a sudden, Donald Trump's like, no, we got to go back. We need a recount. I need you to understand that people who have every intention of gaslighting you will twist and manipulate, lie, deceive you. They will break the law. They will do everything. They will engage in bad faith. They will engage disingenuously, all for the purposes of getting the advantage so that they can get their way. They do not intend on genuflecting before the truth. They have no intention whatsoever of changing what they want and what they believe and what they're fighting for, or giving in to what the truth says. They have no regard for the truth. They want to change the truth to serve their agenda. That is what Donald Trump is doing. And when you deal with people like that, you have no responsibility whatsoever to even hear them. So I want to say it very expressly. If you are in this audience listening tonight, I need you to 100% know that they are going to gaslight you and make you second guess whether or not the media should have called this election or not. If it went their way, they would have accepted the call from the media. Because it didn't go their way, they reject the call of the media. And they want to make you second guess it. The way you fight back against this is to absolutely refuse in your mind or in your heart to second guess what we have been doing all along. If Donald Trump had his way, we would depend on the media calling the election on election night, because the media, the various organizations, the Associated Press, the New York Times, CNN, Fox News even called it. For the love of God. Fox News even called it for Joe Biden, but that wasn't enough. Nope. No, because Fox News did not say what they wanted to hear. All of a sudden, Fox News was the enemy. What does that mean? That means that you cannot give them the benefit of the doubt. That means that you cannot allow them to make you second guess yourself, because their entire agenda is to make you second guess yourself so that they can have the advantage, which is the definition of gaslighting. And it is exactly like an abusive relationship. It is like being in a relationship where your significant other cheated on you and want to make you feel guilty because you didn't cook dinner right for them. It's like you're in an abusive relationship where your significant other hit you across the head, but they want to make you feel guilty because you changed the TV after they went to sleep. This is the type of abuse that Republicans want to employ over your life. My producers are sending me some breaking news. Erie, Pennsylvania, the USPS whistleblower completely recanted his allegations of a supervisor tampering with mail-in ballots after being questioned by investigators, according to the Inspector General. See what I mean? I want to read that breaking news for you again. Erie, Pennsylvania, a United States Postal Service whistleblower completely recanted his allegations of a supervisor tampering with mail-in ballots after being questioned by investigators, according to the Inspector General. In other words, this bastard made this up. And once people put pressure on him to get the truth out of him, he could come, oh, I don't know. No, it didn't really happen like that. I'm telling you, you got to guard yourself against these games. Has anybody in the audience been in an abusive relationship? This is exactly what they're doing. They are trying to steal the election from you, and they want to make you feel guilty because you trust the collective body of the American media, including liberal outlets like MSNBC, conservative outlets like Fox News, centrist outlets like the Associated Press, left of center, but sometimes right of center outlets like CNN, and then the milquetoast CBS and ABC, all five, all across the spectrum, agreed that the data says that Joe Biden won. And they want to gaslight you into thinking, oh, well, maybe the media did call it too soon. No. They want to steal the election from you, and they want to make you second guess your sanity, your rationality. And that is the game. That is the game that abusers play all of the time. It is the most extreme version of gaslighting. Let me rest my voice for a second.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
I'm just reading your comments. I'm going to pull a couple of comments up on the board. Beans by Tay. I think I got it right. Beans by Tay says they are illegal ballots because they are non-white ballots. Yes, because the overwhelming majority of people of color voted for Joe Biden, or they voted against Donald Trump. I'm sorry. I honestly have absolutely, you do what you want to do. My family's going to be fine. I have no requirement whatsoever to recognize the laws of this government when the president of the United States doesn't recognize the laws. Hang on, let me read something for you. I want to say that again. We, you do what you want to do. I ain't going to speak for you. I have no requirement when in the course of human events. I just want to read something to you. I have no requirement whatsoever to acknowledge the rules and the laws of this government when the highest office of the land disregards it for the sake of his own ego. None whatsoever. Let me read some more of your comments. Somebody wants to know, you can get at me through my channel, or you can get at me on Twitter is the best way, probably the best way to get up with me. Thank you, K-Love. You guys smash that like button. Michelle Tellis says her first election was, I believe, 1994, and this is the first I have ever heard of illegal ballots. Born Beauty said that she can't remember the first election that she voted in. Right. Let me go to Nash. Nash says 45 is hell-bent on the Supreme Court ruling in his favor on everything. That's the whole point. Somebody said a swear jar bin. I do that during the morning show. I guess I should do it at night. What did I say? I don't even remember what I said that required the swear jar. I mouthed it. I mouthed it. I'm reading more of your comments before we go to the. I'm going to try to do the patron party live tonight. I always do the patron party during the podcast, but I'm going to try to do it live and see how it goes. It's a little tricky. I have a little music and stuff, and so if it goes really bad, then forgive me. But we're going to try it. But why should we acknowledge the laws of the thing? But again, I'm going to say, because the cops are going to abuse us, the cops abuse us anyway. The cops, if you're black, especially if you're black, because the cops are going to kill us, the cops kill us anyway, especially if you're black. The Republican Party has made it clear that they will ignore your vote if you try to vote them out of power. Now, the American people have spoken. The American people have spoken. And this, remember when somebody said you can't vote fascists out of power? And I said, you know what? I would not be a good father if I didn't try. Okay, thank you, David. I would not be a good father if I did not first try to use the power of electoral politics to vote a fascist like Donald Trump out, because the alternative is to use force. And this is not to, I am not, listen, folks, can I tell you, of course there's a side of me that is like, viva la revolution. Of course, it's in my blood, but I got kids now, and I want my kids to grow up in as much of a stable environment as I did. I believe in the continuity of human civilization. I believe in the continuity of human life without destabilizing us, like the world was destabilized after the Roman Empire in the Dark Ages. Like humanity would be so much more advanced right now if we had not had the Dark Ages. Okay, so I am not a proponent of conflict for the sake of conflict, because sometimes the price of conflict is the destabilization of the continuity of civilization. I'm talking some good shit tonight, whether you know it or not. I'll put that in the swear jar. I know that one goes in the swear jar. But when the people in power have demonstrated that they have no regard for the consent of the governed, and the only thing they recognize is what's convenient for them, what else are we supposed to do? What else are we? When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. Republicans are demonstrating the arrogance of King George. They want our taxes. They want our acknowledgement and our acquiescence to the rule of law. They want our political participation. They want our participation in the economy. That's why they won't shut this economy down, because they need us to go to Hooters. They need us to go to the bar. They need us to go watch some movies. So they want our money. They want our resources. They want our labor. They want our participation, but they don't want our vote. That is taxation without representation. Damn it. Fuck around and find out. That is taxation without representation. You want our money. You want our revenue. You want our labor. You want our participation. You want us to go to work. You want us to consume on social media. You want us to buy shit from Amazon. But you don't want to recognize our vote? It's only American. I'm sorry. I got a tattoo on me that it's I don't know if I'm going to show it. I was made in America. Listen, I believed all that propaganda you gave us. I believed it. We, the people of the United States, I don't have to look at the screen for this one, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice and secure domestic tranquility, to provide for the common defense and to promote the general welfare, to secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. So I'm sorry if I'm actually a patriot. And I honestly believe that you have no right to compel us by law to enjoy the fruits of our labor, to enjoy the profits of our consumption, and you are willing to disregard our vote when it is inconvenient for you. Talk with me, somebody. It is the height of Americana. It is the quintessential example of patriotism. It is my duty as an American to rebel against a system that would ignore my vote because it is inconvenient for King George. Fuck around and find out, Donald Trump. Go to bed, kids. And here's the thing. Democrats need to speak with this same fervor because Republicans are speaking with the countervailing force of the same fervor, right? Republicans are showing that they're willing to go. They have been talking about civil war since they won the White House. Like, y'all, all you talk about is civil war. You won the White House in 2016 and you're talking about civil war. Like, how spoiled can you be? You won, you sore winner. You're a sore winner. You won the White House in 2016 and immediately they start talking about civil war. But there's no countervailing force because Democrats don't want to. They don't want to stir up the pot. They don't want, because they know Democrats, I believe Democrats, the number one problem with Democrats is the fact that they know that if they talk shit at the same exact level as Republicans talking shit, that we would have fallen into a conflict a long time ago. But here's the problem. If you're afraid of that happening, you automatically give the opposition the ability to win. I absolutely hate the fact that when we would be kind, the opposition would take advantage of it. I hate the fact that when we would recognize when they win, they use that against us and ignore when we win. I hate that because that means that the only language they understand is force and power. Right? The only language that they understand is force and power because they have let us know that they don't care about our vote. Republicans have let us know that they do not care about they do not respect our vote. And if Democrats are afraid to let them know that we would go just as far, I forgot to cut on a whole ass light. Hang on, let's see if that helps my lighting. I forgot to cut on a whole ass light. Look at that. If Democrats are afraid to let Republicans know that we will meet them exactly where they are. If Republicans come to us in kindness, in good faith, and genuine interaction, then we will come to them with kindness and in good faith and with genuine interaction. But if Republicans come to us with malevolence, bad faith, and disingenuousness, then we are required to meet them exactly where they are. If they come to us with a complete disregard for our legal right to vote, then we come to them with a complete disregard for their legal right to govern. And then some. Because I don't believe in eye for an eye. I believe in 10 eyes for one. When we can be kind, let's be kind. We can have a peace. Democracy can work. Democracy can work. But not if we keep giving way to people who want taxation without representation. Republicans want taxation. They want our participation. They want our labor. They want our consumption, but they don't want our franchise. They don't want our vote. So when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have Republicans need to know that we'll go as far as they will. Whatever you want. You can have whatever you like. Stacks on deck, Patron on ice. We can pop bottles, baby. You can have whatever you like. Whatever you want. Whatever you bring to the table, Republicans will meet you. If you bring peace and reasonableness and logic and genuine good faith interactions, then we will give you a peaceful transfer of power when you win. And we expect that you will give us a peaceful transfer of power when you lose. But if you don't, I have no responsibility to be kind when you're being cruel to me. I have no responsibility to obey the laws when you ignore the laws to your advantage. And I need everybody to talk this shit. I'll talk it by myself. I don't care. If I see people, I'm reading the chat rooms. Ooh, this is sedition. I don't give a fuck. Call the cops on me. Call the feds on me. I got enough money. I mean, my family be fine. Even if they freeze my accounts, I got enough in-laws that'll take care of my children until the end of time. So my family will be fine. Do what you got to do. But you know I'm right. You know that I have no responsibility as a man, as a human being, to allow you to abuse my rights as a human being because they're inconvenient for you. Nobody else has to do that. And when we snatch that reality from them, then they realize they're dealing with grown-ass adults. And Democrats in Congress need to talk like this. They need to talk like this because Republicans don't expect us to actually have a backbone. They expect to be able to walk over us. And I'm sorry, I just wasn't born in that generation. I don't know if it's a generational thing. I could be completely wrong on that. But as for me and my house, when I read, I'm a Christian. When I read the Bible, I don't read the Bible as, necessarily as turn the other cheek. I read the Bible as Joshua stamping out an entire, I am pretty selective of how I read the Bible, though. So that's not a good example. That's not a good example. I have my own motto. I have my own guiding light. I have my own North Star. And that North Star says, when I can be kind, I will prefer and I cherish being kind because I believe that kindness is our route towards the future. I believe that if we are all equally belligerent, here's the thing. If Democrats are equally as belligerent as Republicans have shown themselves to be, I think equal belligerence leads to conflict and we don't know who's going to win. We don't know how it's going to play out. Republicans think they're going to win because they think they got all the guns, but they don't really have all the guns. And really, as mature adults, do we actually want to engage in that conversation? Is that what mature adults actually want to do for the sake of Donald Trump's ego? We're not trying to steal nothing from you. Republicans have demonstrated that they're willing to have these type of conversations in service of Donald Trump's ego. This is how you know I'm right? The trolls in the audience, they'll never believe it. They'll never agree to it, but they know in their heart that I'm right. They want us to recognize the Senate races of states where Republicans won the Senate and House races and Donald Trump lost the White House. They want us to ignore it. So they want to accept the results on the Senate and the Congress and congressional seat level, but ignore the results on the White House level. So who are we really serving? Are we serving democracy? No. Are we serving the Democratic Party? Clearly not. Are you even serving the Republican Party? Absolutely not. They're doing this for Donald Trump's ego. So Republicans, you can have whatever you like. Whatever you bring to us, we're going to bring back to you. You can call that sedition. You can call that insurrection. You can call that rebellion. I call it matching your energy. We're just going to match. We're going to match your energy. You ignore our right to vote, we're going to ignore your right to govern. Fair game. Rooted in the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. It is rooted in the original interpretation. You call yourselves originalists. You want the original interpretation of the Constitution? Then I dare you to want taxation without representation, to want our participation without our franchise, to ignore our right to vote in order for you to maintain political power. I dare you. Because if we don't meet them there, then we will always be chasing after the sentiment of gaslighters, of an abusive relationship. We will always be chasing after people like Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, would you please just okay us? Would you please just say that you approve of us? And he's going to always find a way to be a disingenuous, bootlicking ass motherfucker. I'll put that in the tip jar. I'll put that in the tip jar. Hang on, I'll do it live. I think I owe about $25, probably $30. Hang on. Let me put that in the tip jar myself. I hope it goes through because I don't even know if I got money in that account. It's funny, like the relationship in our household. My wife, I just make the money. My wife manages it and issues me. I make the money. My wife issues me what's it called? An allowance. Hang on. Let me pay my tip jar. I'm probably up to $50 now. No, I don't want to. It's not a $4.99 super chat for sure. It is about a 19. Okay, we'll do that one. Buy and send. All right. Of course, I know it comes back to me, but YouTube takes a percentage of it. So there you go. I'm paying YouTube. So that's it, folks. That's all I really got. We're going to do the patron party in a second. I'm going to read a couple more. I want to make sure I get as many super chats on the board as possible. I'm going to answer the super chats, a handful of super chats, because so many super chats come in. I'm going to answer the ones over a certain level, and that's not to be elitist. It's just we've been spending an hour every single night reading super chats, and it's just it just takes so long. But I am going to do the patron party. And I'm just scrolling through to see if I missed any. Oh, there's a super chat here. I want to make sure that at least the super chats get on the screen. The USPS worker was paid by the GOP donors. Man, nobody ignoring you, Infinite Content. Bro, I ain't ignoring. He said, why am I ignoring? Man, I ain't ignoring you. I just got shit to do, man. You know I listen to your tweets and stuff. And I know you know that. I know you're just messing with me. Folks, if we don't let the Republican Party know that we will meet them exactly where they are, what you want to do, I will match your energy. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You want to disregard my right to vote? I disregard your right to govern. If we don't do that, because can I tell you the most abuse? You gotta break free from abusive relationships. You have to. I hope that nobody who's listening to me is in an abusive relationship right now, because the level of gaslighting, they have to make you second guess yourself. They make you think that you're insane. They make you think that you are the one that has the problem when they're the one that cheated on you. They're the one that hit you across the head. They're the one that spent all the money. Your account is empty right now because of that gaslighter who's making you who's making you feel like, oh, well, maybe the problem was me. Maybe the problem was the media wasn't supposed to call it. When in every election in modern history, the media has used the same analytical, statistical methods to call elections. Thank you, Teresa. I might drop a couple of more. But now they want to ignore it because they don't want to ignore our vote. They don't want to acknowledge our votes. Let me just catch up. As soon as I catch up, oh, man, you guys have so much to say, and I'm trying to include as many as I can. I'm doing it live. Everything that pops up on the screen for right now. My producers are going to take over and actually produce live. They usually just send me notes, but starting probably Monday, they will be producing live, so I don't have to scroll through all the comments and put them on the screen. But right now, I'm giving all this commentary as I scroll through your comments and read them and put some on the screen, like this Dragon Squad one. Shout out to the Dragon Squad. Ben, we can do this like 1770s in the U.S., this is infinite content, or get grimy like 1780s France. How do you want to do it? And that, honestly, like, we have the right as human beings. We have the right as human beings. They think that they are the only ones with the right to rebel. No, I'm sorry. You shouldn't have indoctrinated me. I've been saying the preamble to the Constitution since I was in second grade. When I got out of college, I bought the entire series on the U.S. presidents. I bought into all that white supremacist interpretation of American history, lock and sinker, like line, hook, and sinker. I believed. You should not have indoctrinated me to the point where I actually believed that I was American. But now that I do believe that I'm American, I dare you to try to ignore my right to vote by saying it's an illegal ballot because it's inconvenient for the ego of Donald Trump. Okay. Or we can all be civilized adults, reasonable, rational individuals who acknowledge the right of the consent to govern, and the consent of the governed says, Donald Trump, you lost by millions of votes, but you also lost by the same constitutional electoral college that you would abide by if you had won. But that is inconvenient for them. That's an inconvenient truth for them. All right. Let's see. Oh, I think I can get through all these patrons. Let's do we're going to do a patron party. I'm going to try it. I haven't done it live. I've never done it live. Here is a patron party.
Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and get twice the content and unfiltered interviews without any of the commercial interruptions.
And here we go. At this point in every single episode, I'd like to take a minute to thank the people who make the show possible, our subscribers and our patrons. Very special thanks to our new Twitch subscribers, Iman Camp, Monkey House, Green Power Van, Azel 8. Special welcome to our patrons, Fatima, Cassandra, Damian, Jeffrey D, Daniel K, Ali G, Jared H. Everybody just popped up. Susan B, Esther B, Idol, Constance, Zanav, Sherry, Amanda, Tiffany, Tashif, Sam N, Mo S, Chris 31415, Lisa H. You too can become a part of this prestigious and prodigious patron family by going to patreon.com/The BPD Show, where you get twice the content, uncut, unfiltered interviews, none of the commercial interruptions, and you give me the ability to speak power into the powerless, whether the powerful like it or not. Oh, we did that. We did that.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Yeah.
Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
Yep. We doing it live, folks. Ow. Check me out. How about that? We did it live. I'm going to read this one from Hadim. I sincerely appreciate everything you did and continue to do in Georgia. I also appreciate the way you are laying this out. Only ballots that voted for Biden are fraud, right? What about gray rock technique to deal with narcissists? Would that help? You know what? I'm not afraid to admit that I don't know what the gray rock technique is, but if it is useful, I will study it when I get offline, and I will become an expert on it by tomorrow, or at least know enough about it tomorrow to make it applicable to our conversation. Thank you so much, Hadim. How did y'all like that patron party? Was it? It's a bop, right? I love me some. Thank you for the swear jar, Missy. I love me some go-go music, and I'm trying to get the rest of your super chats in. There's a couple of more names, and I will read them individually because the patron music is not long enough. I've been off on a break calling out the names of patrons for quite a while. Let me just make sure I get all of the super chats in. I don't want to miss any super chats. I want to at least get them on the screen. And my desire is that whenever we play it, that you will bop. I want to see you bopping. I want you to take a video of you dancing and then send it to me, and I can share it on the show one day of you dancing to the patron party. I love go-go. DMV. Let's see if I missed something. You missed page 2. No, I know, David. I know I missed it. I just had it timed in my head, and I knew I was out of time. You MFer made me laugh out so out loud. Here's half. Happy to share on your cousin. Been watching you about 6 weeks. Thanks. I appreciate you all. And we're also going to be reading patron comments on the air and subscriber comments on the air. Oh my, am I at the bottom? I'm at the bottom of all of our comments. You know what? Just because I really love the patron party, I'll make the music longer tomorrow so I don't have to do this. Hold on. Where'd it go? But I need you bopping with me. And we're going to do it one more time because I got another page of patrons to read through. Here we go.
Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and get twice the content and unfiltered interviews without any of the commercial interruptions.
And here we go. At this point in every single episode, I'd like to take a minute to thank the people who make the show possible, our patrons. Very special welcome to Alicia B., Christopher S., Patricia K., Imani M., Tabitha G., Samantha B., Peter D., Catrice C., Joel V., Wayne T. Thank you all for becoming patrons. Oh, wait a minute. Wayne T, Kitty S, Jimmer B, Yasmin C, Leah A, Nicholas C, Glenda R. Thank you all for becoming patrons. You too can become a part of this prestigious and prodigious patron family by going to patreon.com/The BPD Show, where you get none of the commercial interruptions and you give me the ability to speak power into the powerless and truth to the power, whether the powerful like it or not. I messed up. Okay. DMV in the house.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show. Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
Check me out. Okay. Infinite Content on YouTube suggests that we put up all the organizations you can sign up with to help in Georgia. I have a definitive list being generated by my homeboy Marcus. He was on the show last night. He's putting a list together. That's number one. Number two, I have 3 organizations off the top of my head that you can immediately go to their websites and trust that it is going to be a good donation for the January 5th election. First of all, do not donate to John Ossoff, okay? Not his campaign. John Ossoff, just go look at my Twitter timeline. I've had it up to here with John Ossoff. He needs to win. I want him to win. I'm going to vote for him. And I want you to vote for him too if you live in Georgia. But donate to people who know how to connect with the voters on the ground. John Ossoff doesn't know how. You know who does? The New Georgia Project. NewGeorgiaProject.org. You know who does? Fair Fight. Don't remember their website off the top of my head. I think it's fairfight.com. But look up Fair Fight in Georgia. And you know who does? Most certainly my man Mundell Robinson. He leads the Black Male Voter Project, who sent like 30 million text messages in this election cycle and knocked on I don't know how many tens of thousands of doors in Georgia. BlackMaleVoterProject.org. Those are 3 organizations off the top of my head. Marcus is generating a list of all of the organizations that you could check out if those 3 don't fit what you're looking for. Okay, I think we got another super chat here. So I think that's it. Let me read, let me see if I missed any super chats. I think I went through all the, you know what I missed? I missed a lot of, so to my producers, we'll talk about it off air. I'm going to get all the super chats on screen and then I'll read, we'll find a way to work it out. So anyway, that's it, folks. This is a pretty short show. It's an hour and 21 minutes. We normally go for like 2 hours or something like that. Let me read this comment from Jay Radimus. He said, the reason why Trump didn't want to see it called on television is because he lives his life through TV. If he sees it live, if he sees it on TV or the internet, it must be real. That's why he was mad at Fox for calling Arizona. It made it real. That's a fact. That's a fact. I agree with that. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. I'm going to try to do the responsible thing and actually go to bed so that I can get rid of some of these bags under my eyes. As you can see, I'm still recovering from the election cycle. To everyone who is a patron and everyone who is a Twitch subscriber, what we're doing going forward is if you are a patron or a Twitch subscriber, on the first Friday of every month, we're doing a patron party. You know my DJ. We went to college together. My DJ can jam for 7 hours straight without ever playing the same song twice, and the party is lit. On the third Friday of every month, we're going to do an Ask Me Anything / Answer Any Question. And it's not about me personally, because you guys, I tell you all my business on the air. It is about us talking and me answering any political question that you have. You can come into a Zoom with me and we're all there. We can fit 500 people in there, and you raise your hand and ask me a political question and I answer it. And that's how we'll spend our Friday nights on the third Friday night. That is exclusive to patrons and to Twitch subscribers. If you want to become a Twitch subscriber or if you want to be a part of this family, and you don't want to spend any money, you can go to Twitch and become a Prime member, meaning that you could use your Amazon Prime account and it won't cost you an extra dime. It takes from Jeff Bezos, takes $5 from Jeff Bezos. It doesn't cost, it takes from your existing Amazon Prime account and reallocates $5 from Amazon Prime to this stream. And that will give you access to the Zoom parties, and it will give you access to the Friday night Ask Me Anything and everything else. So that said, I'm only going to leave the stream open long enough for Twitch to do a raid. In Twitch world, twitch.tv, a raid is a great thing. A raid means we take our entire audience from Twitch and we send it over to support somebody else. So if we have 125 people watching us on Twitch, all 125 that want to go will go over to somebody else's channel. So I'm going to leave my producer's chat open. And as soon as he tells me that you all have done the raid, we will call it a good night. And in the meantime, out of everything I say, folks, the thing I mean the most is that if we can be kind, be kind. So do me a favor and show somebody some kindness in the chat room. If you know them and you've missed them, maybe you haven't seen them online in a while, tell them that you missed them. If you don't know them, just say, hey, have a great night. Say all those things. Just show someone some kindness, because when we can be kind, we should be kind. But when we can't be kind, take no prisoners. All right. So the stream is effectively over. I'm just waiting for my producers to give me the go ahead and let me know that they rated somebody. I don't want to go. Somebody said, I don't want to go. Anybody who could tell me where that's from. I don't want to go. Tell me where that's from. And I don't know, I might have to give you a free patronage for a month, for like 5 months, not a month. What's a month? I'll give you a whole 6 months of patronage. Who could tell me what that is? I don't want to go. Let's see who's the first one to say it. Somebody's N.R. Gray. N.R. Gray. I want you to hit up David, my producer over, or whoever's producing on YouTube, and I'm going to give you 6 months free of Patron subscription. That is David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, as he regenerated into Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor. He was the first one to get it. Great. I love it. Oh, so many people knew it. Oh, all of you knew it. I pulled the very first one. Awesome. So many Whovians. No wonder we all love each other so much. Okay, the raid is done. Stay and watch my closing music because I worked really hard on all this. And I'll see you tomorrow.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show. If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.